Hi, I'm Ed Thorne. Welcome to part 3 of this series where I'm documenting building a professional mixing and mastering studio in a flat in London. This is my spare room in my new flat and what is hopefully going to be the studio. Now this is the episode where I need to do some little changes, fix a few things up and undertake a couple of quite big building and construction projects as well. Now, I'm not Mr. DIY, so this could go horribly wrong, but everyone keeps telling me I have to do this bit of work that I've got to do today, and I have decided on a contingency plan if this goes spectacularly wrong. So stay tuned. And the main problem is this. You can clearly hear where the wall is going from brick to plasterboard, and when they did a renovation, or the renovation, for reasons that don't make sense to me, they didn't put any rock wool in that cavity. So there is a gap of, I think, 120 mil, and I need to basically get some rock wool in there because at the moment it is resonating, and when I've taken measurements outside of the flat on the other side of the wall, you can physically feel that wall vibrating. There's also a spot over there where there used to be a doorway, so that's not as high. But this is the main problem because this goes out of the flat into the communal area, and this goes floor to ceiling. So I've started cutting. The plan is to cut like a letterbox and then see how we go, and if it's a disaster then I will just bite the bullet and get a builder in to put the rock wool in. So laugh away in the comments. This is going to be fun. All right, this is the first cavity. So in terms of the vertical joists, I nailed where those were. In terms of the horizontal ones, I did not get that right. That's what we're looking at. So the idea is to stuff rock wool in there, find the next cavity joint, which I now know is there. Oh, so I was right. I just wasn't right about that one. And then by that maths, 16 inches apart, which is apparently pretty typical, according to ChatGPT. The only problem is, this is a ball ache. I can't be arsed, and I've got to do holes here as well. Whereas it would be easier just to take the whole board off. Right, so what I've ascertained is that these joists, the horizontal joists, are every 40 centimeters or so, which means there are 5 cavities either side of this vertical joist, which means there are 10 cavities in this section of the wall that I need to cut a letterbox hole in and fill. Now I've done this one, I've filled it in and I've put the sealant round, and it looks messy, but it's not the end of the world. Now the other option is to basically strip the plasterboard off this entire section and then put rock wool in and get a builder in, or at least get someone to help me put in plasterboards. But there's going to be issues with the door frame because that overlaps, issues with the alcoving at the top and the skirting board at the bottom. So basically it's a case of, do I want to pay money to get it done or just do it myself now? But the concern is that drilling these holes is obviously compromising the integrity of the wall. I just don't know what to do, but I'm impatient and I can do this now and get on with it. Worst case, I do this now, it's a bag of sugar and I have to get someone in anyway. I've just wasted a bit of time. I don't mind doing that for the sake of exploring all options because I am somewhat impatient. So that's where we're at with that. 9 more of these to go on this wall. And then there's the other bit, which for now I'm definitely going to ignore. Right, I wasn't sure if I was going to do that, but the impatience got the better of me and it's taken me about 3 hours to basically figure out where the studs are. Got that one wrong. And then, as you saw, cut the hole, put the rock wool in, push it against the back wall so it's not touching both walls as much as I could, and then sealing the holes back in. It's actually not as bad as I was thinking. I know there's probably people mortified, destroying me in the comments. Work away, don't give a shit. But what I might still do is put another layer of really dense sound block or soundboard of some kind over that. Partly to neaten it up, but partly because it'll add density and mass to the wall, which is what we need in these situations. But as with anything in this room, as we've discussed, you're into diminishing returns, is kind of all or nothing. But I do think this might help. But already, that is not resonating, which is good. So I don't know what decibelage is. Decibelage? That's a good word. Don't know what decibelage that's going to reduce the level outside by, but it's not resonating, which is the main thing. So we'll see. I think I'm going to carry on, and then if there's a problem still, I can get some more boarding to put over that, which will cover this horrible mess, which otherwise I'm going to deal with when I leave the studio or the house. So after the slightly traumatic experience of doing that wall, DIY is not my thing. I've decided not to bother with this wall because I think I'm going to have to cut 6 cavities in there, and this wall's not as much of a problem because it's just my lounge at the other side of this wall. If, when everything is in and I feel acoustically the resonance this is creating is a problem, and is still a problem once I've covered this with acoustic treatment, then maybe I'll reconsider that. But for the time being, I'm just going to crack on and do other stuff. The first job is these gaps where the radiator is. I need to stick a load of acoustic sealant down that, which is not going to look pretty, but again, I'll deal with that as and when I move that. The next step is laying this gym matting on the floor. Now, obviously I'm not expecting to do anything acoustically, but what this is doing is minimizing vibrations going down through the floor. And I've tested this with my practice pad that you saw me playing in video 2. And the difference in vibration transfer through the floor is massive with this on. This is genuinely quite useful stuff. And I tested this, I had someone play my pads really loud with and without the gym floor, and the difference was huge. So this is more a vibration precaution. We're going to put rugs on top of this because I can't be bothered laying proper carpet. I'll probably seal that all down, and then away we go. Oh, you'd be surprised how tiring that is. But the whole floor is done. And I've conveniently managed to create an almost complete seal under the door. If you've not heard of tech sound, as far as I can gather, it's basically an advanced form of mass-loaded vinyl that apparently turns sound energy into heat energy. So it absorbs the vibrations and dissipates that. But a byproduct of that is apparently it creates heat. Now, usually most people would put this in between panels of plasterboard. So you do a load of soundboard, put tech sound on, and then do another layer of soundboard. And that adds a lot of density and mass to the wall, which can be useful. For this though, I'm just going to put it on the back of the door. Now this is incredibly heavy stuff. I've no idea what weight this section's gonna weigh, but I have hung myself off the door and it holds my weight, which isn't a small amount. So I'm optimistic that that'll just hang off there. Now the only minor difficulty is gonna be where you peel this off and stick it on the door. Obviously what I don't want to be doing is sticking it to the door frame. Got to figure that out. All right, the carpet's in. and it's already feeling a little deader, just a little bit, but it's helping. I've decided not to block the vent just yet because something quite significant has occurred to me, and this may derail the entire project. I've been looking into air conditioning, and the plan was to put it up above here, because above, on the other side of that wall, there's a lowered ceiling that goes over the kitchen for more random reasons in this conversion I can't explain. But there is space to nicely get an air vent outside, but then you need the extractor or the filter box, whatever it is, outside. And I've just chat GPT'd that I might need planning permission to put one on that side of the building. It can't go out the front because it's we're in a listed conservation area. So yeah, in terms of getting air in and out, I was going to be relying on AC, and I've just found out I might not be able to do that, which is quite significant. Obviously, I can unplug the window, but then I'm letting noise out. But worst case, I'll leave it for now, and if I confirm about the air conditioning, I'll update you, and then I can just unplug the window, and I'll just have to make very low noise until I get planning permission for the new windows. So that's going to take months. Yeah, that's a potential stumbling block in this project I hadn't anticipated. I just assumed I'd be able to get air conditioning. Oops. Other news, I've got tech sound left, so I think I'm going to put that on here to help cover this up. Doesn't look great behind the door, I'll be honest, but I'm not really bothered as long as this side of the room is aesthetically pleasing, because this is where I'm going to be looking. This is where cameras are going to be looking. I can deal with a bit of crap on the back wall, and obviously the gym matting comes right to the bottom of the door, which is creating a good seal. This is proving quite effective. That's about 5, 6, 7 dB drop on the other side, which is good. I've got some seals in there, which is working just a little bit, but enough to mitigate pretty much 6 to 7 dB, which is what I wanted to do, so that's good. And obviously I've had to cut out a hole because the door is touching the matting, but I don't mind that either. I just need to make that look neater. In a previous episode, I highlighted an issue with these K&M stands, which was this. What I've done is stuffed one of these in the bottom because there's a hole, so I can't fill it with stand natively. So I've stuffed one of these in the bottom like that. And then I've filled it with sand, which I won't show you now. And this is the result. So it's more the top end on that one, but it is helping. Alright, I had some technical issues rounding off that last video, but this may give you a clue as to what we're going to be talking about in part 4. Thanks for sticking around and watching that. Leave your comments below and I'll try and respond to as many as I can. And already, oh, you can hear quite a big difference. We're going to be rabbit holing the actual practicalities of tuning a room, seeing how it measures up against the theory, and you may have noticed something has already changed. Stay tuned for what and why that was in part 4. Thanks for watching. I've been Ed Thorne. Be kind to yourselves and other people. It's been emotional. Less DIY in the next video.